1, 2. Spoiler.
Good. He never was.
Two-time world champ.
Por la victoria.
Fighted in Kodo. Yeah.
I ain't got
The name was brought up, Devin Haney, and I saw the shirt, by the way. Run, Devin, run.
Yeah.
I got to order one, but
yes.
First of all, this from my understanding, because I kind of followed everything as it went down, right?
Mm-hmm.
This came completely unprovoked by you guys, right?
Right.
Because the last time we had Floyd Schofield on, we literally asked him about the sparring, and all he said, "Well, it was good work," and that's it. That's all. That's in the archive. People could go back. They could listen to it. On Punch Drunk channel, shout out to Mr. Moonshine, by the way. But on his channel, when you guys were there, Bill Haney comes on and starts talking about how your son got stopped or he quit. I think they said quit, right?
He said he stopped him. He said he stopped
first
him.
round and all this other nonsense. Yeah. He had too much drinks that night. He was just
What do you think that was all about, though? Like, why would he, it's not just a lie, but like, why would he even do that? Like, it seemed like it was out of left field.
He's just trying to stay relevant, and he see that I'm getting publicity.
Nah, that ain't what it is.
You don't think it? Or he might be mad I'm mentioning Shakur more than his son.
No, that ain't what it is.
What it is then?
And if you listen to the interview, he said on one part, he said, if y'all I know how to move people up the ranks. You think Rick Ross could do that? We were supposed to be going with Devin Haney Promotions at one time, but Bill never sent no paperwork. He just gave words. So we moved on with our life. And so I think that affected something, and he just felt he had to come up there and make up lies to bash Floyd. But when he made that statement, it showed that's what's bothering him.
That could be the case.
That could be the issue.
Wow.
We don't care. We're going to keep moving, doing our damn thing. Bill be all right. And we're going to promote this fight because sooner or later, him and Devin going to have to fight. And Devin going to have to answer for what his dad said.
Oh, man. Well, Bill's writing the checks. Can Devin cash them? That's the question.
Right. Devin, they run. Like with this Lopez fight, they're going to find a way to price themselves out. They're going to try to find a way to avoid it so that he can move up and the belts would be vacant and whatever for grabs. Devin, that's a strategy Bill used. He'll pop the nonsense, then find a way to get out of the fight. And so, like this fight they're having now, he's a top 10 guy, but he's number 10. I mean,
I think Lenore is still gonna beat him, though. I hope he do.
It might be a tough fight for him.
Ooh,
but not gonna fight anybody in the top echelon. They ain't gonna fight a Shakur or Lopez. They're gonna run and they're gonna stall.
Speaking of which, let me ask you something, sir. I'm a teacher by trade. Would you mind giving a grade to Devin Haney's last performance against
Gamboa
from A down to D?
Now that's a tricky rating only because Gamboa is old and kind of beaten already. So I would say his performance had to be a C. With his performance, because Gamboa should have been out of there in the second, third round if he knew what he was doing and as great as he say he was. But the performance he gave showed Devin don't got no power like that.
Yeah, and I believe I fell asleep and woke up in the 11th round, if I'm not mistaken.
But I want to see somebody in the top 5.
Yeah, that fight definitely wasn't the most entertaining, but you're right. He should have took Gamboa out of there. This is a guy who's been on the canvas 17 times in his career going into that fight. And he didn't even look like he was hurt, wobbled, nothing in that fight. We just seen what Herring did to Frampton, a guy who was at the end of the line, just like a Gamboa. Look, retired him. Retired the man. Like, that's what he should have done with Gamboa. You guys are absolutely right with that. I agree 100%.
He was recovering from Achilles injury, too.
Right.
And he knocked me out. I was asleep by the 9th round. Oh, it's out. Smooth out. No, but does that offer? I saw the offer of something like $1 million for like 6-round exhibition, something like that. Does that still stand?
Yeah, that's still saying, but Devin right now gonna face Linares. Then he claimed Lopez gonna call him out. We're gonna see how he gonna duck that one. And we'll see if he'll take the exhibition fight. But then he should feel we don't want his title right now. He'll feel safe. Just let's see if he could do what he say he could do.
But we're here to find out if Johnny Savage is a real boxing fan or nothing more than a casual. Now, we'll start with question number 1.
Move it.
Now,
Move it.
Now I'm going to put that one in the column for a real boxing fan. He knows some of the songs that we sing at the fight. You got 1 point for knowing Volver from Vicente Fernandez. Here's the second question. Did you watch boxing this Saturday? Can you tell me who fought this weekend, Johnny?
No, I honestly, Dave, I didn't watch it. Got too much fucking, you know what I mean?
Number 3, Johnny Savage, do you own any boxing memorabilia in your man cave?
Yeah, I do. My Payas and De La Hoya shit. Remember this fight?
Okay. De La Hoya. I can't see the other guy.
All right, now he didn't watch the fight on Saturday, but he's got some fight posters, man. So that might be a real boxing fan here. Johnny.
Renato Hernandez.
Oh, yeah, that was a great fighter, Renato Hernandez. So he might be an actual boxing fan. And here's another one for Johnny Savage. Is Canelo Alvarez...
I got more.
You got more? Is Canelo Alvarez the greatest Mexican fighter? Canelo Alvarez, is he the greatest Mexican fighter?
He sucks.
What'd he say?
Look at Manuel Payas.
Johnny Savage, I want your top 5 greatest boxers of all time. Shoot. Greatest boxers of all time.
Sugar Street Mosley.
All right.
And De La Hoya.
Right, 2.
And I love Prince Nassim.
Nassim, okay. All right.
I love De La Hoya.
Okay.
I love Tyson, Ali, and fucking what's the name? The Italian guy. He's Rocky Marcelano. I love what's his name? He just fought recently. I love
Leon Spinks.
Lennox Lewis.
Johnny Savage.
That is what it is. That's our discussion about the heavyweights. I do want to transition into something that we don't usually talk about on boxing shows, but we might as well do it. All right, if you're born in the 80s or later, maybe even if you were born in the 70s, but definitely you're born in the 80s or later, like us, grew up in the 90s, you played video games. You played PlayStation, definitely, maybe Xbox too. And if you were a boxing fan like us, you also played boxing video games. And the last video game that I kind of played as a boxing fan was called Fight Night Champion. And I'm going to kind of bring it up here for everybody to look at, just so you get an idea about kind of the graphics that were available and what was available in terms of gameplay back then, a few years back. There you go. And there's a new video game in town for boxing fans, and I'm actually going to ask Kenny, who's a big gamer, to react to it. So this is what we had kind of up to now. You know, I used to get excited about playing my friends in boxing and picking my favorite fighters or even creating my own fighter. So it's been a while. And Kenny, I told you I was going to ask you to have a look at this and just give your thoughts as a guy who is a gamer on this new game developed by ESBC. Just give your thoughts, Kenny, on kind of what you see in terms of the gameplay and the graphics here. Here we go. So this is what it says it's going to have. Career aspects. You're going to be able to use feints. There's going to be movement, corner system, 4-directional punches, which is very unique. That hasn't
Fully
been
integrated.
a feature yet. 36 punch control. I don't even know how you'd be able to do that, but check out the difference just off of here, straight off of the jump. And I'll let you react to this, Kenny. Your thoughts as you see it.
I think the graphics look decent. They look like the graphics will look really good on a PC. The box is moving, so I semi-slow. I don't know if they're slowing it down on purpose, but it does look semi-slow.
I think it's slow-mo for sure, yeah. I definitely think this is slow-mo. Let's see if we could get some real-time gameplay.
There it goes.
Yeah, this is David Adeleye, who's a UK prospect. So it's interesting that they have him involved here. They say it's a revolutionary footwork system. I mean, it
does look better. The footwork definitely looks better. I just wonder how they're gonna control the 3D aspect of it, right? So yeah, it's like with the controller. How are you gonna have to use both joysticks to go around the ring as opposed to just straight forward and side to side? You know, like it does look pretty cool. The graphics look really good. Can't complain about that. They do look way more agile now. I want to see some in-fight action though, not the guy just throwing punches like the guys boxing, if they have anything like that. But I'm very excited. I've been waiting for a new boxing game forever. I used to call myself the champ back in college on Fight Night Championship round.
So you created your own fighter back in the day?
Nah. You just use whatever fighter was available. But we used to have tournaments in the dorm rooms. And yeah, man, I was really, really good. I would come out winning most of the time.
So here you have Arturo Gatti. They say they're working. Apparently what they're doing, and you can see they even have in the heart rate, which is kind of, I've never seen that in a video game before.
That's really good. Fight Night Championship round kind of had it. They had the stamina gauge. It wasn't the heart rate, but I think that's what the heart rate is going to be in this one. The amount of punches you can throw before your guy collapses or passes out or something.
Yeah. So they've got the world's strongest man in there, Eddie Hall, because apparently he's been fighting. And, you know, Kenny T versus Maestro can't take place in real life because we're homies, but I don't know, man. I think the Maestro might put the business on KT in this game. What do you think, Kenny?
I don't know. We're gonna have to test that out. That may just be a whole nother stream all by itself, you know.
So this is the corner work. You can see cut recovery, swelling reduction, head damage, body damage. Let me go back to that actually, because I kind of skipped over it real quick. But yeah, you kind of see you can do corner work on your fighter to, I guess, help him recover a little bit. That's an interesting feature right there.
I really actually like that. That's actually pretty cool. It seems like they're making this game much more interactive. So instead of the simplicities of boxing, it seems like they're actually making you think about boxing. Like this game is more for boxing fans and not just video gamers. Like you really have to think, like, do I want to heal my guy's cut? Because if I get a couple more punches in there, right, they may stop the fight. I lose the fight, as opposed to, you know, Fight Night Championship round, which ain't have nothing like that. And you just know you got to press recovery on the bar, and then the bar goes up and everything's all set for you again.
Absolutely. So they got a career mode here. They got promoter Lou DeBella. So you can actually pick your promoter. He's got negotiation skills, the financial benefit to the fighter, his rankings, his social media presence. Very unique, very in-depth features. What are your thoughts there, Kenny?
I think that's also amazing. It's like I saw Arturo Gatti, right? One thing that I think would really make this game stand out much different from the rest of them is if they actually start including all boxers. What Fight Night Championship round didn't do was include all boxers. You really, there was barely any fighters. We don't have to include all boxers, but at least include all of the big names.
Right, and there you go. They're talking about the purse. You've got potential winnings. You've got the social gains if you win a fight. It's very in-depth, very detailed. I could see myself spending a lot of time on this, especially if the numbers hit up again and we get back into quarantining. I could have really actually used this last year during the height of the quarantine. So there you go. We got Sergio Maravilla Martinez. He's got 89% health, 91 health regeneration, health recovery. 90 stamina. He's got stamina regeneration, stamina recovery. So they're really going in on this in terms of details of these fighters. Very, very interesting stuff here. It says a lot of this is work in progress. So I think a lot of this was a teaser for us as boxing fans and guys who were gamers. But I'm actually very much looking forward to this. And thank you, Kenny, for giving your initial thoughts on this and the gameplay. We can jump back into that discussion another time once more information about this game has been released. Last thing I want to ask you before.
Welcome to another edition of the Will Be Blood Fight Show. I'm your host, Dave Duenas. We're over here in Hollywood, California at the Wild Card Gym with the famous Freddie Roach. How you doing, Freddie?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing great, brother, you know. Let's just go straight with the bang. You know, we had Nate Campbell on the radio show, Leave It in the Ring. And one of the statements that he made that's really started up a whole ruckus among the fight community is Manny Pacquiao and you won't fight African Americans.
What happened when we won the super bantamweight title? We knocked out LIITR. What color is LIITR? Black, okay? Nate, if you were fucking purple, would fight you. You're a bum. Make the weight.
What's your take about him, Timothy Bradley? If he beats Timothy Bradley, is it make an interesting fight or not?
He can't beat Bradley. Bradley's going to kick his ass.
You know, back when you beat Oscar, before the Hatton, I came down on December 8th, and I talked to you about, you know, the defeat with Oscar De La Hoya. And I said, hey, you know, it was a fun match would be, and it really made a lot of sense, is against Miguel Cotto. And at the time, you guys were thinking about Mayweather and even possibly Margarito. And I got a lot of flack from that, from the fight fans. They were saying, you're crazy. But now it's really realistic. What's your take about this fight with him?
It's a tough fight. You know, Cotto's he's a big, strong guy. We're going to fight at 45. You know, they're calling us the catchweight king now. It's our first fight at catchweight ever. Sugar Ray Leonard put a cap on the weight when he won the light heavyweight title with Donnie DeLong at 168, but nobody complained back then. But anyway, you know, Cotto, he's our next opponent. We got to figure out how he nullified Shane Speed when he fought him. I've got to expect him to be at his best. So I'm starting to study his tapes now, and I'll come up with a game plan by the time we start training camp in September.
Shane Mosley said he even come down to 140.
I mean, Shane came to my gym twice to negotiate the fight with me. I said, Shane, can you make 142, 143? He says, no. I says, well, okay, there's no fight. He says, you fought Oscar at 147. I said, you're not Oscar.
What do you mean by that?
He's better than Oscar. You know, the thing is, why should I give him an advantage? You know, Manny holds a 140-pound title. We're not looking to go up and fight for his title. You know, if after this fight though with Cotto comes about and Mayweather won't come to the table, Shane will be next, I would say, because there's not many options for us out there. I mean, to make the big fights. You know, Manny's getting towards the end of his career. He wants to fight big fights and nothing but.
Nothing big fights, which he deserves already.
Yeah, and you know, Shane's win over Margarita, he probably deserves a big fight also. He looked really good in that fight. I mean, he's been up and down a little bit lately. He looked real terrible in his fight before that, but he still came back to win by knockout, so he didn't disappoint us. And I like Shane. He's a great guy and stuff like this. But the thing is, we can make twice as much money fighting Cotto than we can Shane. So, you know, that's the way we're going to go. I mean, it's a business right now, and Manny Pacquiao, he's going to get paid for what he does.
Absolutely. Floyd Mayweather.
I want to fight him right now. I mean, he's our first choice. He's the easiest fight out of the three.
Really?
Yeah. He's small. He's fragile. He hasn't fought in 2 years. You know, what's the big deal? Where's the greatness? He struggled with Oscar. We killed him. He struggled with Hatton for the first 6 rounds. We killed him. You know, why is everyone so great? He was great at 135 and 140, but at 47 and 54, he's not great.
Right. I got to agree with you. I mean, I've never considered him great at 147 or 152. I mean, 154. But prediction if that fight happens, what round?
We'll get him somewhere. He'll run for a while, but he can't run all night long. I mean, it'll be a late stoppage, but you know, he'll hurt something. He's fragile. his ribs, his shoulders, his hands. He's got all the excuses in the world. You know, just show up and fight, Floyd. Come on.
Talking about two guys that you and I fans of back in the day, and they fought a couple of times. I should say 3 times to be exact, and good fights too, man. But today is an anniversary for a fight, and one of my favorite fights to watch, and a fight that I actually was dead wrong about, man. 20 years ago today, we had Prince Naseem Hamed against Marco Antonio Barrera, man. Yeah, and you know what? Being that I was a fan of the babyface assassin back then, I did pick Naseem to win that fight, man. I'm not gonna lie. Even though YouTube, 2001, YouTube did not exist. None of this stuff was going on. I'm not afraid to say who I picked back then, man. I picked against my guy because I thought I really did believe the Naseem hype, the speed and the power, and he showed a very good chin throughout his whole career. I mean, he's been down a couple of times, but most of the time it was due to his bad balance and bad technique that he had. So I was thinking he was going to be able to, you know, take Barrera's shots, and I thought he was going to be too fast for him. So I picked against my guy, man. But boy, was I dead wrong, man. What are some of your memories from that fight, man?
Well, I do remember this, man. I remember the aura of Prince Naseem Hamed. People need to understand that, you know, you got to take yourself back in time and kind of freeze it sometimes, right? And when you experience it like we did, even though we were kids or teenagers, I should say, it's still nice to look back and reflect upon, because featherweights were not featured like that on television. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They were not featured like that on HBO. Right. I'm not saying it was never a featherweight fight, but what I'm saying is they weren't a big, intricate part of it. When Prince Naseem Hamed came and he invaded New York City, and he's fighting at the Garden, the Mecca of boxing, right? With Kevin Cowley, which is a hell of a fight, by the way.
Yes.
I mean, you got to keep in mind that opened the door for HBO to give opportunity to the Barreras, to the Moraleses, to the Marqueses, right? Whether you like Prince Naseem Hamed or not is irrelevant. That is the guy that catapulted. And since HBO wanted to push, you know, Prince Naseem Hamed, I'd never seen like a network pushing the fighter as that much of a bad thing. You know why? Because that gives the opportunity for other guys to come in, right? And that's what happened. And in this case, Barrera obviously had already made a big name for himself, okay, and fights prior, McKinney on the first Boxing After Dark, and then the great fight with Morales, and then to go in there against Prince Naseem Hamed, who was undefeated, a big puncher for that weight class, you know, and went in there and nobody expected Barrera to just beat him by, look, outside of the full Nelson and all that, outside of the, you know, those moments, he put on a boxing clinic. It's what he did, right?
He dominated the fight in a way I did not expect, man.
He showed him in the world, look, I'm gonna take this kid to school, and that's what he did. All right. He took him to the escuela. All right. That's what he did. And he gave him a boxing lesson. One he would never forget.
Let's watch this real quick, man. Look at this. Is the very first round of the fight, man. Look at my boy Barrera, man. Proved me wrong. I was dead wrong in this fight. But early on, look, you can see it was clear. He had a game plan for sure, because he had never came out and fight like this. And now watch this little left hook. Boom, hurts him right there.
Right, nice mid-range pressure there, by the way. Doesn't stuff his own work, but always in range. And like you could tell, Prince, it's just the fight just started, bro. He already looks uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Another left hand gets in there. Yep. Yeah. And this was one of those fights where you'll see, we talked about this with the Ryan Garcia Luke Campbell fight. When you're in there against a southpaw, to stay on the outside of that lead hand, Barrera did that very well in this fight, and it definitely threw the Prince off No doubt about it. Let me say what's up to everybody that's here real quickly. MMA champ, what's up, man? A-Rod Boxeo is here. Puerto Rican rum.
Well, why not
Round
boxing
one.
champ? You know, why not boxing champ? Why MMA champ?
Yeah, man, switch it over for us, all right? Sonteo, HCP in the house, man. He's out there putting in some great work, man. Make sure you guys subscribe to Sonteo. Pound for pound boxing, real news. What's going on? Tracy's
And we need
here.
a cholo sign. We need a cholo sign for HCP. I know Chief Funky and A-Rod know all about that stuff, you know. But we got to come up with a cholo sign.
That's right, man. JC's in the house. What's going on, man? And let's see. We got Major Key here. What's going on, Glenn? Thanks for stopping by. We got the brother Brian, the boxing historian, is here. He says the jab and right hand is all she wrote. Yeah, man. Beautiful, beautiful boxing from my boy Barrera that night. And we got Calix here too. Calix in the house. What's going on, man? He says, I remember Prince getting beer thrown on him during his ring entrance, stepping off with a magic car. That's right. He did fly down. I remember that for this fight.
The magic carpet was awesome, though. I'm not going to lie. That's some Vince saw that. And why can't I come up with that shit? You know what I mean? Great stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And he always had some great entrances, man. I remember Halloween, he was coming out, he was punching the head off of those zombies in the graveyard. He fought on Halloween one night. Prince Nassim was fun, man. He was fun.
At the end of the day, Eddie Hearn is on record as saying multiple times that they won't and can't do this fight in the UK because there isn't enough money. So Tyson Fury's saying that the fight won't be in the UK. So is Eddie Hearn. He's also saying that.
But here's another thing, Amilcar. Let me ask you a question, Amilcar. Where did Tyson Fury win the heavyweight title? What country?
He fought in Hamburg, Germany.
Okay. Where did he win his second world title?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Where's he from?
Just outside Manchester, England.
He's not from
there. Okay.
He's a gypsy. He's a traveler.
No, you cannot. That's
what he said.
You can't say that. You
but
can't
I
say
do have
that.
a message, but I will say, the
advertisers are pulling the plug as we speak right now. The advertisers.
Hey, yo, Eddie. Hey, yo, Eddie, are you listening? Eddie. Yeah, he's here, guys. Check it out.
The end is near, and so I face the final curtain.
I don't know what song I'm starting to hate more, the Sweet Caroline or this one right now.
Oh, come on. That's Frank Sinatra.
Why does it have to be somebody's fault, though? It's just not the right time for this fight. Why can't we?
It isn't.
Whoever put the most barriers is to blame, Beep. He's putting the most barriers.
There is no barriers because there's no date, there's no site, there's no location. How is that his fault?
If they're offering the money, who cares? They just fight.
How do you know they're offering the money?
So here's line.
Where's the money?
Line that somebody put up the money.
Where's the money? Where is it?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Eddie Hearn says whatever.
Eddie Hearn has a track record. Look, Eddie Hearn really has a track record of putting his foot in his mouth numerous times.
You don't see what's going on here. You don't see what's going on here.
Fury is an honest angel, and he's never put his foot in his mouth.
But you don't see what's going on here. You haven't. This is the same story with a different set of characters. You haven't seen this before. Every time a big fight is going to happen, they constantly throw these little teasers, and everyone's like, yeah. This is part of promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and as long as they have bigger. As long as they have gullible people that are going to be like, yeah, man, get him, Eddie. Yeah, Eddie's the man. I mean, that's
look, I'm not an Eddie Hearn fan.
Not saying. Okay. Don't. I mean, I didn't say you were, but don't fess up to it. I didn't put you on the spot.
Here comes the final curtain.
That's not what I'm saying. You just told on yourself a little bit there, but I'll let it go.
D-Style's changing it to D Hearn.
D-Style, let me say
why
something.
Why don't you stand up so I can see your Eddie Hearn t-shirt?
Hold on.
Check it out. Oh, shit.
Yeah, but take that off and just show me the Eddie Hearn one that's underneath it.
Hold up.
Oh, I love it.
When Fury fights AJ, I'm going to have an AJ shirt. If Fury starts winning, I'll just take off the AJ shirt.
I'm going to go in my closet right now and grab my Fury shirt. I don't give a shit.
Go ahead, Milcar.
Welcome to D-Style Boxing. This segment is brought to you by Matchroom Sport and Sir Eddie Hearn.
Let me tell you something. First of all, Eddie Hearn ain't cutting me no checks, so I ain't gonna go to bat for him. Okay. I called out Eddie. Look at what I'm doing to Eddie Hearn.
The end is near, and so I face the final curtain.
Let me find out you and Eddie. Let me find out you and Eddie Hearn are FaceTiming each other. Let me find that out.
One,
Good. You never whooped.
Two-time world champ.
Victoria.
Provided in Kodo.
Nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
I ain't got it.